there's many different methods and advanced methods and periodization. What is periodization?
Like setting out the goals of like the clients. So like it's like the breakthrough and then like building phase and then
What's periodization?
It's a roadmap from your goal, working all the way back to where you are now and everything in between.
Periodization is.
Your forecasting training program for adaptation that you want.
Cool. Right, so different reasonings. Right, to be honest, explaining to a client, it's like keep it simple so you get through to them, but correct roadmap, right, of training and nutrition towards their outcome or goal. Simple as that, right? So I just wanted to see where everyone has different reasoning, right? Once again, there's no perfect or 100% right answer, but it can be pretty damn close. Now, with that, my point is there's many different methods you can use. At MPH, we have like our top 10 kind of methods and stuff like that. That just work and are easy to understand, and then you can get a bit more fancy after that, okay? Now, it's very, very important that you put the right pieces of the puzzle together when you do periodization, right, with training programs, all right? You need to do, same with nutrition is the same with training. You need to do it in a behavioral approach. If you have a client that can only do 30 minutes and you're giving massive strength sessions with heaps of rest and stuff like that, that may not be beneficial to them. So I just want to cover that before I say anything else and get into the nuances. Like nutrition, you need to do it from a behavioral approach. You need to understand your client's day, what they enjoy, all right, what they get into while they're training as well. And what their outcome they're looking for is. Yeah? Makes sense? What do you need to look for, Bailey?
Yeah, sorry, that was full on there.
Yeah, cool. I'm going to push it. But what was the word I used? Started with B. Behavioral.
Yeah.
Behavioral nutrition, behavioral training. Looking at the client's behaviors and how they act throughout the day, right? And what you need to supplement it with training and nutrition. What is it? Good. With what? Two things. Behavioral
training.
Behavioral. Good. What does that mean?
What does their behaviour mean?
Yeah. What does it mean?
So what they're doing, what their action steps are taking up towards their training and nutrition.
Behaviours. What does behaviours mean?
What their action steps are.
No. What does behaviours? No. What does behaviours mean? Like cool. What they're doing, but what else? So you won't be able to do anything with nutrition or training if you don't know what behaviours are. Make sense?
Yeah.
So what are behaviours?
What they're doing.
Cool. Habits.
Yeah.
Yep. Cool. And why is that important?
Well, obviously their behaviour should be going towards what they want to achieve.
Well, correct. But it won't always be perfect, right? So you have to, you need to do it from a client coaching perspective and not a coach focused perspective, yeah, at times. So you have to think of the client's behaviors and supplement those behaviors sometimes, right? You'll get some clients where you say jump and they go, yeah, cool. But you'll get many clients that aren't like that, right? So you need to take it from a behavioral approach. Understand their day, understand where they're training, understand when they're eating, understand if they're quick meals or whatever it is, understand what they enjoy, understand their goals. You really need to take a deeper dive into that, all right? That's one thing I know for yourself. That's why I'm going to pick on you with this, that you can improve. Because your energy in the session's good, but understanding your client more up here and their behaviors in the day, whether it's a mum, whether it's an Alex, will help you make better decisions where to put things and not put things. Yeah? Which is good. What are behaviors?
Having that client perspective.
Cool, but what are behaviors? What are behaviors?
I don't know how to answer that.
Yeah, habits, what they're doing throughout the day, what they naturally do, that's what behaviors are. Yeah. So good. I'm going to put that in your head because everyone needs it. Okay, you can't just give a plan and not have reasoning behind each step. So that all needs to be sorted first, and then you do a screen. Downstairs, you do a screen. You see where they're at basically throughout that screen. Now, what's the point of a screen, Josh?
To pick up any like imbalances or injuries or whatever like that.
Yep. And then how does that help you with your training program?
Or picking up on what's weak, what's tight, what to work on.
Yep, in the training program. Sweet. And then What, in the broad sense, say you have someone that does need a bit of work, what phase or what program or what method would you put them into?
So like, give me an example.
Yeah.
So like someone, I don't know,
What training method?
depending on what the client goals is and.
Yeah, so say you got someone who can't squat, they don't know how to hinge, they've got like crap rotation in their shoulders. What kind of method, what kind of thought process with a 4-week training program would you put them in?
The neurological coordination.
Good. You could say that or a GPP, right? All right, so we're going to cover GPP phase, right? What is a GPP phase, Dana?
Like what it stands for?
Yeah. Too slow.
General
Good.
preparation phase. Preparatory phase.
Yeah, pretty good. Yeah, you could, not totally wrong. You kind of got it like flipped around.
General phase preparatory.
General physical preparation.
Don't laugh.
You're very, no, that's good.
You said the other way around.
No, you have the right idea. All right, so it was good. Now, what is the outcome you're looking for when you write this phase? Nath?
For me, when I'm going through that, more so structural balance.
Good, so looking at structural balance. And then say, what are you thinking of? Are you thinking ahead for the next program when you write this phase?
Well, it's kind of like, I'm thinking what I want this person to be able to do.
Yeah.
And what can I do in this phase to prepare them for that?
Good, fantastic. So what are they able to do right now and what you want them to do? And then what are you able to do in this phase so they can do it the way you want it to in the next one? Fantastic, right? Fantastic. Now, so basically you're going to assess them, see how they squat, see how they hinge, see where the imbalances are, like you said, right? And then from there, you're going to put your exercise selection focus in your head, right, of what you want to improve. All right, and then also you need to think how those exercises will carry over into the next phase of whatever that phase may be, whether it's a body composition, strength phase, hypertrophy phase, okay?
Like the progressions of the exercise.
Correct. So there's different ways to do this, but I'm going to just show you a thought process that I run through when I do it, all right, to keep it simple. If you go too complex sometimes, once again, it kills execution, right? So say you have gone through the screening, you're writing their training program. Now we do have the templates there, very simple. You've got an A series, B series, and C series, okay? Now, in the A series, what kind of exercises would you be putting in? For example, would they be bilateral? Would they be unilateral? Would they be compound movements? Shut up. What would they be? Bailey,
Compound.
why compound?
You want to
Tell me your reasoning.
most exercises that are the hardest, you go at the start. Make sure they put the most energy into the compound.
I'm glad we're doing this.
Unilateral.
I'm glad we're doing this, right? Because I just want to hear your reasoning, right, with things. What would we put at the start?
Like for this program,
Yeah.
well, for this one, like you would do the unilateral first, and then.
Why is that?
Um,
Now, I haven't given you much context to this. I haven't said
No,
you've
no,
got
but
Susie that has this and that, but
Tom-
just give me a
Tom has
reason.
gone over it a little bit with
Good.
us.
Good.
So it's like you're building up that coordination first with the unilateral movements,
Nice.
so then you can like recruit more like motor units and stuff.
Good.
So
Good.
then when they go into their compounds, they're already like
Nice.
and they can perform
Good.
better.
Well done. Good reasoning. Good reasoning. So, Bailey, you're thinking plan over here,
Yeah.
right? 100% you're right, but like in terms of the plan over here. So, and then you would explain that to the client. You would sit down and say, hey, we've got split squats here. Remember last week when you were doing squats and it was like all over the place? We've got, weaker side glute, blah, blah, blah. We're doing unilateral work in our A series. So we can improve your, just keep it simple. You don't have to say too much fancy stuff. We can improve your coordination. We can get, single leg strength. And then my goal is to get you, progressing with the exercise in the next phase. From split squats, we may do goblet squats in the next phase, right? But you would sit down and explain that to the clients, yeah?
One question. So let's say the end goal for this client, let's say you want them to do a barbell back squat. So you start with, let's say, heels elevated dumbbell goblet squat. When you're in that GPP phase, if they're capable of doing the dumbbell goblet heels elevated squat, would you get them to start there and then move on to your accessories, meaning the unilateral work, or would you still get them to start at unilateral?
So once again, you just, as long as you have reasoning behind the exercise of how it's going to improve the client, you're fine, right?
So the order of it depends on the client, obviously. But
Correct. As long as you've got reasoning there. All right. Now, I just like keeping it simple. With a GPP phase, I personally like to have unilateral exercises here to work on imbalances. And then I like to have, well, what would we, before I say anything else, right? Before I say anything else. So my point is, it's all about reasoning, right? Now, once again, it's a scale. Your reasoning may be 50% good, 60% good, 70% good of why you have those exercises there, yeah? So I'll keep it simple. I personally like to have unilateral exercises here to work on, unilateral strength, get them coordinated, teach them how to go through movements correctly as well, and take out any unilateral imbalances. Because if they have issues with strength on one side versus the other, how can they do anything properly bilateral? All right. Remember, the outcome of this phase is building a foundation to handle the work coming later. Yep. And keeping exercises in a regression mode so you can progress them later. Yeah. All right, that's A series. So good reasoning we've touched on, unilateral. Okay. And do we understand the reason why for unilateral, Bailey?
To fix imbalances and movement pattern coordination.
Good. And build unilateral strength, right? So when you've got a GPP phase, that's what you're explaining to the client. Yep, that's what you're saying when you sit down with them. You're not just go, cool, here's a training program. You need to teach them why were they doing things. B series.
Bilateral.
Why?
So you've done your unilateral work, so now you're focusing more on you've got the coordination between left and right. Now you're putting those together to do the more, not compound movements, but, compound movements.
What would be B series for you? I says no right, I just want to hear reason.
Well, I can come up with some weird shit and rationalise that too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would start, the unilateral work, and then the bilateral work, I could put that in there, but I'd put in a lot more pauses at ranges where they're weaker.
Very good. Love it.
So you're not looking to overload,
Yeah.
you're looking to grain the skill.
Good. Now you'll notice with the sheets, sometimes I think with the squats, I automatically put that in if they're in there. Pause is in the bottom to get them used to that end range, right? Good. Why is that, Nath? Why would we add a pause through a bilateral movement? Does everyone know what bilateral movement is? Yeah, good. Why would we add a pause?
Just to get familiar with the position. It's
Good.
at a length and range that they're not used to being in.
Cool.
And you want to recruit that neuromuscular facilitation that you've just brought on by the unilateral work.
Now, don't need to say as fancy shit like what Nath said there, right? But I'm going to put you in the bottom position to keep you comfortable there and teach you how to do it, because I want to progress you into harder exercises so you can keep progressing and having fun, but I need to make sure you're comfortable in that position, right? And you understand what end range is and you're comfortable there before I put heavier bars on you, okay? This will help injury prevention, all right, and help progression in the future as well, all right? So very good. So we're working on movements, we're adding things like pauses in. You could do it even with pull downs, whatever. You're teaching them to depress, pull down, right? Pause at the bottom so they understand they're not just bouncing through the movement. You're really fine-tuning the exercise movements in this phase, right? So when you get them into the next phase with more compound exercises, they have an idea of how to run through that movement specifically under load, okay? So pauses can be great, all right? But see now how it's like, all right, I'm paying attention to unilateral strength here. Now I'm doing bilateral exercises and teaching them end range of movement and how to get comfortable in there. And then when you're watching the client in the session, it's not just 3, 2, 1, 3. No, it's like, no, we're not going at full end range. We've got to hold, hold at the bottom. You good? Hold, okay, come back up. You'll get more into the session more, instead of just being rep counters and tempo counters. You've got more reasoning behind the exercises here to get the outcome, okay? Personally, I do this. I do bilateral movements in my B series. Now, that's not, when I say bilateral movements, I wouldn't usually in a GPP phase specifically do back squats with a barbell or stuff like that, okay? It'd be like heels elevated squats with dumbbells by your side, maybe a goblet squat sometimes, depending what level they're at as well, or it'd be a pull down, not a chin up, right? Teaching them how to depress, right? Think of it, regression exercises before the next big one. So I might do a pull down here and then a chin up in this phase. Make sense? Cool. Reason for A series.
To help with imbalances, neurological coordination, and just fixing that movement pattern.
Good. Reason for B series.
Bilaterals, and then putting into that unilateral work, into that one big movement,
Good.
seeing if that unilateral work is improving. So then that original squat or whatever it is better.
Okay, interesting. Bit different reasoning than we just covered. But B series, think, what would you be using? What tempos?
What tempo?
Correct. So, good. Why?
To get them used to that being at that bottom range.
Good. So the goal of the B series is to teach them how to move with 2 legs, 2 arms, full range of motion, and doing the technique correctly and feeling the right muscles. That's what we want to do. Very simple. B series, go again for me till you got it right.
So making sure that we work in the right muscles that we want to work, so they're activated. And obviously, like I said before, fixing those imbalances, putting the pauses in at the hardest position of the movement, and just teaching them the movement.
Good. Well done. I want you to do it once more. This time, take a big breath in. Slow. Talk slow for me. Go. No, don't do that shit. Talk slow for me.
Alright, so B series.
Wait, too fast. Big breath in. Do it. Okay, now talk to me. Relaxed.
B series we're going to be working on. So now we've come from a unilateral, so we're going to do bilateral movement. We're going to be adding stuff like pauses so we can get used to being in the hardest position in that movement and making sure that we're working the muscles that we want to work in an effective way.
Good.
In that movement.
Well done. I really want you to take pauses when you talk with your communication.
In group, it's never going to happen. One-on-one, it will.
What's that?
In group, I can't.
What do you mean?
It's like 150 now. I'm not good at groups.
Shut up.
So it's just
Shut up, Bailey. Shut up.
I've always been like that.
Shut
Can't help
up.
it.
No, you got to change. You can help it. Do you believe in personal development or not? You always put up mentality shit.
Yeah,
Do you only put up motivation shit for motivation shit, or do you put up that shit to change?
Yes, bro, to
Good,
change.
then you can shut the fuck up. You can change. It's not. It's not. It's only because you believe it is. That's it. My point is, you do it here, you'll do it there. Yeah? As in, you'll do it with a client. Very simple. Big breath in, and then before you go into that next sentence, pause. So, what I mean by that, like I said, you'll see very smart people do this. They'll think, they'll speak, they'll say a sentence, they'll think again, and speak, instead of letting it just run. Yeah? That's what I want you to focus on. Yep. You'll kill it, baby. Yeah? You can do it in a group setting. I love your motivation stuff. It's good. All right, cool. I will ask you again, Bailey, this one in a second. Again. All right? I want you to use that tactic. Why not in a group setting? Just curious. Why?
I'm just not a group person. Public speaking.
What's wrong with us?
No, it doesn't matter who's in front of me. It's just all eyes on me. Never been good.
Yeah, right. Interesting.
I get what he means.
Yeah. Okay. Huh?
I said, I get what he means.
It's only because you care what people think of you.
Yeah, I think
That's what it
everyone
is.
cares what people think of each other to an extent.
Oh, no, it's good to. But that's why excessively it can be the other way. C series, let's roll. Josh, C series, what do you reckon?
I was thinking like isolation.
I might even put D on. Cool. I'm hearing you. What for? Why?
Just to finish off like the workout.
Where'd you learn this from?
Just tape.
Okay, cool. Isolation exercises. What goal would the exercise be for? Would it be for like strength, hypertrophy ranges?
Maybe white hypertrophy.
Good, I like it. What kind of rep ranges?
10 to 12,
Cool.
maybe even 14.
Nice. You're kicking goals here. Well done. Give me an example of a exercise that's isolation that you're talking about.
Bicep curl,
Yeah.
tricep, rope extension.
Good.
Leg extension.
Cool. No, you done well. Done well. Nath, C series.
Yeah, you can do the isolation stuff. I'd probably look at building an aerobic base.
Cool.
Fine.
To clarify, that's good. That's good. You mean with strength exercises, or do you mean with?
You can get a good mixture of both. So like farmers carries, front rack carries,
Cool.
all that type of stuff. So working on weights is
To-
two birds, one stone.
Good. No, that's good reasoning. That's why I quickly added a D1. So if you had those, well, I won't say anything. Don't worry about that.
Okay.
C series without.
A-series. Okay, so yeah, you can just go into the isolation stuff.
Cool.
It's safer, and all that stuff you've done before is to build up to, you're building a skill for the next phase, but they still want to have a decent, feel like they've had a good workout.
100%.
So you can use the isolation stuff or machine stuff just to really make them, make them feel like they've had a
Perfect.
workout.
Very good reasoning. Very good reasoning. I've got some things I'll add to that as well, but Bailey, C series.
So how I usually explain it, or how I do it, is more the accessory work. So yes, isolation.
Yep.
With more of a higher, finish off with more of a higher rep range.
Cool.
But yeah, higher rep
We've got
range,
10
more
minutes.
accessory, and more isolation.
Good. When you bench press, what muscles do you use? What are your primary and what are kind of your accessory muscles?
Pec minor, pec major.
Yeah, what else is? Yeah, cool. What did you say, Dan?
Triceps.
Cool. So say you got someone in GPP phase, they're not very good with pressing. What muscles can you build to help? Especially when you want to get them into a bench press. Yeah.
Pressing, the first thing I would explain is obviously talking about like protraction.
No, that's good. Exercise selection, sorry. For C series.
Oh, if they're not good at pressing.
Yep. What are some isolation exercises you could use here that are accessory to a bench press to put in your C series to help? That will build hypertrophy in that area because they need more muscle there, which potentially means more strength. You covered one of the muscles there. Open up, Chris. What do you reckon?
Either do chest fires or stuff like unilateral lat pull down to help with like a protraction retraction, because then if we retracted at the bottom of the movement.
So stay with bench press. So it could be,
Stay with chest
it could
press,
be triceps. You said.
Yeah, okay, push it.
Boom. Right? So then, yeah, there's some hypertrophy there as well, but then you're also building up part of the muscles that are accessory to a bench press. Because remember, the goal of this is to get them ready. So each part of the exercise needs to get them ready. So think of like your compound movements, bench press, deadlift, squat, etc. What are these exercises and how do they help get there as well? So when you press, you got triceps, right? Need them nice and strong, nice and big, yeah? So you could do, yes, to have a really good burnout at the end as well, but also reasoning too is to help the compound movements that you want to get in this next phase. Cool? C series, explanation, go.
I was gonna say as well for the C series, because it'll be a lot of just pretty much machine work and focusing on the muscles that you hit throughout that workout. Because the majority of the actual workout will be working on imbalances, so you're not really being like, okay, let's up the weight, That's not really the focus. So I was gonna say for the C series as well, because it's machine work, could be a way to kind of win the workout. Always just try to up the weight mainly for those two exercises because you can
Push a bit harder with those. Correct. No, that's good. That's good. So see different reasonings, yeah? But the more you combine the right ones, the better you'll be able to explain it to a client, and then they know what the goal is. They're like, okay, I'm not just getting told, Bailey told me to do a tricep extension, but he's got a plan for me where we're going to build triceps because he wants to get me to bench press in the next phase, and that's going to help, yeah? The more you do this, the more people will stay. I don't know if you're getting it, but that's what happens, right? The more you teach people what they're doing, the more they're going to stay and reason it. Now, keep it simple though. Know who's in front of you. Yeah, some people like fancier words and want to find out about mini cuts. Some people won't give a shit, but what they'll understand is that Bailey's got a plan for me and he knows his shit. Man, I thought I was just going to the gym to do tricep extensions, you know? But there's a reasoning how I do my first exercise, second exercise, selection, and third exercise. Now let's talk about D1 here, right? D1. Josh. I won't say names, but Josh. D1.
So that's just like not the cardio bit?
Could be. Give me reasoning, man.
Well, also using like the sled push, like the prowler as well. Using that for especially like their chest posterior days.
Good.
So like they're working on pushing with the calves and just like all around. Also a good finisher as well for the workout.
Yep.
Um,
Good.
Yeah, just to elevate the heart rate. I
Good.
guess, as well.
Good.
Yeah.
No, that's good. The reasoning there is pretty good. Nath, anything to add to that?
Yeah, it's sort of another exercise actually. You can add to it like I've been doing it with Ron,
Yeah.
because he's got one arm. So you can't sled push, obviously, you just push in circles.
Yeah.
But just put a heavy band around his hips.
Yeah. I just had an image in my head. Everyone did, I think.
Ron doing donuts.
Yeah.
So a heavy band across his hips, I provide tension, and that way, just with the prowler, because you have to get so low you can't heel strike.
Yeah.
So he can heel strike as he goes through, so you can hit that posterior a lot more than you would otherwise with the prowler, because you have to get so low for that. It's just a lot of knee extension.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can add that in, but also, yeah, just building that aerobic base for, the way I explain to a client is recoverability,
Yep.
fat oxidation,
Good.
all this type of stuff.
Good. And especially if they've got body composition goals that'll aid that, they feel worked. You're building aerobic capacity for the next phase as well, which will help their sets, right? Recovery in between their sets. So yeah, so everything there's good. You can do things like farmer carries, you can do things like prowler runs. You will need to understand heart rate and length of time and that to achieve, whether you're trying to get anaerobic threshold or aerobic capacity, for example. So you will need to understand, hey, I'm doing, shoot.
Oh yeah, you can finish what you're saying.
Hey, I'm doing a prowler and they're doing either 15 minutes hard out and they got to stop in between because I want their heart rate high to get a specific outcome from that, right? Or you're doing things that are, more conditioning based, but you need to have reasoning behind the time they're spent under doing that exercise as well. You can't just chuck it in, right?
Suggestion. So like we got like different equipment for that. So like the prowler. I think we even got like skipping ropes if like they want to do skipping or something.
I don't know if we got skipping ropes, to be honest. No.
I saw something.
No, I don't think so.
Not well.
Okay, maybe.
Well, I was just thinking another equipment to like change it up, like battle ropes.
Oh yeah, no, battle ropes is good actually. It's 100%. You're exactly right there.
Oh, can we get some battle workers?
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Because like I feel like because we have them at TAFE and then like we do circuits and stuff with it.
Yeah.
And then like, it just like builds up like the energy goes to the roof when someone's like smacking out.
Yeah, I just have so I remember. Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, but a good example of an exercise. Yeah. All right, cool.
I've got a question, sorry. With the D series, how would you explain, I don't know if this sounds dumb, how would you explain fat oxidization to a client?
Cool.
Don't worry.
No. I mean, like in an easy way.
Yeah.
Basically, here's fat. It's stuck on your body. We need to do things to make sure it moves from this part of the body, goes in, right, to our energy systems, and then gets used. What we're going to do, and that's what we do. Me moving around like this, that's like we're burning energy, right? Basically, then we just want to get this fat that's stuck on you.
Yeah.
We want to move it, right? Which we're going to do with this exercise, and then we're going to process it to energy.
Right.
All right, so we burn it.
Cool.
Yeah, stuck on you, moved into the transport system, and burned. Just keep it simple. 3 steps.
Explain how I do it.
Yeah.
I was going, this is going to build up your aerobic fitness. It's going to increase your ability to use oxygen.
Yeah.
You want to burn fat. That's a process called beta oxidation, but fat oxidation. So you want to use oxygen, first part of the word. Therefore, blah blah blah. And they're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, keep it simple, but sometimes I will say that will go over their head.
Yeah.
Fat oxidization, beta oxidation, they'll be like, what the fuck?
Oxygen, using oxygen better. And they're like, cool.
Yeah, so you can do that. It's like when I explain like insulin resistance. I don't go through the whole shit of pancreas or anything. I grab a glass of water, I fill it up and go, this is how we're using carbs at the moment. All right? And it's spilling over. See how the water's spilling over? That's spilling over into body fat. Splash it out. Our goal is to get rid of the water, right? Which is going to make you better at using carbohydrates. Like, you've got to keep it simple.
Break it down, use it as fuel.
Yeah, that's it. But stuck's, yeah, but that's all it is, right? Cool. Now, with these exercises, yeah, they will progress, like I said, into your next phase, which will be body composition phase, right? With the goals of body composition, you have to think of the client goal. A functional strength phase, okay, which they can build muscle and decrease fat and build strength. Or you go into a strength phase or pure hypertrophy phase, yeah? Body composition, because we don't want to just lose fat, we want to build muscle. So that's what, you're right, but that's what I mean by body composition. So you have to think how this split squat here will carry over to your A series here. This is where you might do, like what you said, Bailey, primary exercise, supplementary exercise, and accessory exercise. Yep. But then you know where that's going to carry over. Yep. So it's very important to get a good base here, and that's why the screening is very important, because you need to make it a goal in the screening where you're like, this client has a dysfunction. At the end of this 4 weeks, we want to see improvements in that dysfunction. Not just do the program and then they're squatting the exact same, yeah? We want to see improvements with the dysfunction. That's the goal of this phase. It makes it more exciting with your work once you see this happening. And if the client can actually go, holy shit, I can squat properly now, I can hinge properly now with my back getting hurt. Fantastic. You achieve some goals besides body composition and that, okay? So you want to make this a part where you're looking in the screen, you see how someone hinges, they press and move, and then you're trying to improve that pattern in the next phase, yeah?
I've got to go down.
That's right. Is it time?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, cool. Any last questions on this? No? Understood. Bailey, shoot ahead for me. Quicker, you got someone now?
I do.
All right, shoot.
B series.
A series.
A series.
Sorry, GPP, what is it?
Like what it stands for?
Yes.
General preparation. No, general.
Physical preparation, just call
General
that.
physical preparation.
General physical preparation.
Yeah.
What is the outcome of a GPP phase?
Fixing any imbalances, making sure we're teaching movement patterns, neurological coordination.
Good. A series, quickly, but slowly.
Did I just say A series?
No, you just said what GPP is.
Oh, A series, unilateral work to fix those imbalances.
What else?
Getting that movement pattern right with the left side and the right side, see if there is a weaker or a stronger side. Fixing that up so it's not as weak. And then B series, obviously then complementing what we've done in the A series, making sure we're using the right muscles effectively and we're feeling them. And doing such things as pauses, so put him in a position where it's the hardest in the movement.
Why is that important? To get them used to it, right?
Yeah, to get him used to
Good.
the hardest part of the movement.
All right, just tell me here, example of a squat movement pattern, just give me examples here. Unilateral squat, you're trying to improve.
Front foot, so it's
Good.
good.
B series for GPP.
Heels elevated.
Good. C series.
Lunges, maybe.
No, I wouldn't do lunges.
No, C series or leg extensions.
Good. All right, cool, well done. Much better, yeah. And then D series, just explain to me.
A bit more conditioning and cardio side.
Good, why is that important?
Just to finish off, to get the heart rate up,
Good, why is that important?
help with fat loss.
Good, it will aid with fat loss, good. It'll teach them better recovery too, because remember that this is to slingshot the next phase. Yeah? Now, I will say with nutrition during this point as well, you've got to be smart with, this is where you're trying to see their behaviors match the nutrition, get nutrition right in this phase for them. You'll still see some pretty cool, we did a GPP phase when we first did it, and you changed dramatically just by doing these exercises, right? So you can get some pretty crazy body composition in this part as well with people, right? By nailing this, which then, trust me, if someone's doing a squat like this, and then you teach them to go full range depth, are they going to get better results? Yes. They want faster, better results. That helps maximize the process, okay? So be mindful with your nutrition during this time as well. This is where your behavioral approach, you understand their day, right? You understand what their day is, and then you're matching nutrition and getting your measurements and making adjustments from there too, okay? All right, sounds cool? Well done.
Bailey and Josh, you're fine.
Cool. That'll do. Questions?
Shouldn't roll the big boys, right? Hey, shouldn't roll the big boys. Yesterday.
Hey Josh, can you turn on the Aircon, yeah. You got a shirt too, Josh?
They're all in the wash today.
Fucking everyone's on the fucking wash, right? Josh, do you need more shirts?
If I could, yeah, I'll actually get more shirts.
What size is yours?
Extra large.
Extra large, okay.
You weren't that big.
I know, dude.
No, you weren't that big. You need a length, that's what you need.
Nath questions, Dana questions, are all good.
I was gonna say what I've noticed. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, no questions.
Oh, okay. What I've noticed with like the templates on the Google Drive, with the female templates, I always notice upper, lower movement. Sometimes with the male's templates, it's more.
Agonist, antagonist.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know like upper, lower movement's better for fat loss because blood's.
Peripheral blood flow.
Yeah. And now with males, with your GPP phase, and if you have a male, would you still go off of agonist and antagonist?
Depends on the goal, depends on the client. Depends on the goal, depends on the client. So you hit it on the head, like you know how we have GBC?
Yeah.
Why that works is because of peripheral blood flow. So you're going, cool, we're stimulating the chest, stimulating the hamstrings. Heart's got to pump harder, costs more energy, right, through the whole body. So that can be more beneficial for body composition. Yeah. So it definitely can be, for sure. You can get much harder workouts, better for body composition. For ladies, I personally, once again, my reasoning is just with the splits, it's much easier to program that way as well. Ladies don't usually like too much direct chest work, but they'll like shoulders. And I find too, they enjoy more, and I've just seen better results out of that split because they get a little bit more body composition changes with that too. Men, I usually, I'll go between phases, but usually I do agonist, antagonist for men. Well, look, reasoning, like I just like that split. The chest gets a bit of a break. They'll work the back. They can get the lower body all in a session. I've just found that to be, with what I've seen for results, myself personally, better with my clients. Simple as that. And like I said, as you're benching or doing shoulders, you give it a break. You can eat your back. You can get more in that session too.
If you get a guy that's wanting to come in for fat loss, and as we just discussed, like upper and lower is better, like peripheral blood flow for fat loss, would you then go upper or lower for him, or would you still go agonist, antagonist?
As long as your reasoning's there.
But what would be optimal?
Context. You need more context to this, like more details. So what you could do, so let's just use Greg. Greg's 120 kilos, right? He's here for body comp. He needs weight off, right? So we need to do things to improve his body composition. We need to decrease fat, put on muscle, right? In a quick way possible and a healthy way possible. So you might opt in to do a upper lower split for him.
Right.
Yeah? Get the weight down, get the weight down, get the weight down, get the weight down. Okay, cool. And then we might go more agonist and antagonist. Okay. Yeah, because remember, peripheral blood flow is a thing where you will burn more energy that way, for sure.
So it's not too much a big difference of like just male females if someone's got that extra.
Yeah, just got to think who's in front of you. Yeah. I don't use agonist, antagonist. I use single sets now, mostly. But yeah, you just got to use the right tool for the right job. So if this person's here for this method has a specific stimulus and outcome. Yeah. It's a bit better for body composition, but it's not the best for strength. Right. You know what I mean? So you have to think what that client's in for. Now, if they're super weak and stuff like that, you might go, cool, we're going to do a body composition phase, and then we're going to go into more of a functional strength phase after that. Right. Because we're going to decrease the stress also that you got in that phase. Right. Yeah? So you just got to think of how this one goes into the next, the stress that program brings as well, yeah, because like I said, you'll have more oxidization stress, the liver will be more impact with a body composition fast method like a GBC, you have a bit more higher cortisol as well, and then the next phase you might go, cool, we need to give that system a break, and then we'll work on, more neuromuscular, more nervous system training, in the next phase to give that a break, and then go back into it, yeah. So you need to understand what you're giving and what it does. Simple as that, because then you'll know if this client's getting stressed in a certain way, right? Or if they've got a specific goal, how that program will help the next.
I've got a question. So GPP and GBC, would it be method you used was GBC.
So it can be,
Yeah.
but if you have someone who is terrible with movements, it's not the best thing to do, right?
Okay.
So yeah, you can do it for sure. So if you have someone who comes in and they're pretty,
Intermediate.
yeah, they're like, they move pretty good, they're here for a quick result, yeah, we can definitely use this method for sure.
Right. Yeah.
Like, right tool for the right job.
Yeah.
That's the way to think as a coach. No different than a trader. He uses the right tool for the right job.
Yeah.
So you definitely can do that. Definitely can do that. And it will be a very, very hard workout.
Yeah.
Like a GBC with unilateral at the start, compound. Traditional GBC is all compound bilateral movements. But to do it with unilateral and stuff is a very hard workout. So you've got to understand it's hard too, yeah?
Yeah.
But yeah, the goal of that then, you're combining two goals, but remember, when you combine two goals, you might not get the best out of one or the
Yeah.
other, right? You've got to keep that in mind too, yeah. There's no picture perfect method out there that builds up crazy amount of strength, gets you super shred, like otherwise we'd be using it.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist, yeah? All right, cool. Any other questions?